I wouldn't say necessarily that it started with Nas, right? But because whatever, I didn't do the research on that. But I think Nas was the one that brought everybody back outside, right? Like Nas is 50. Like I know he's younger than I don't know if he's exactly 50, but I know he's older than 50. He's younger than Jay-Z. And, you know, I used to get into arguments about Jay-Z and Nas, we all have, right? And about how Jay-Z's career was so much better. And then all of a sudden, Nas just out of nowhere dropped what, like 6 albums in two
Yeah,
years,
two, three
right?
pieces.
Right. And he won a Grammy, right? And you got to think, massive. The dope thing to me about the old cats coming back outside is, first of all, I mean, how many of them after Nas happened? Right now, you got, of course, uh, Wu Tang never kind of never stopped. They did, but they didn't. Right? They still outside.
I think that's more what it is. You had a good amount of artists continuing to drop out. You know what I mean
Yeah.
through the whole time. But I
Right.
think when Nas came out with that 6 piece, I think more people started to pay attention.
He won a Grammy.
Yeah, but I
He had
think
never won a
people,
Grammy before. He won a fucking Grammy.
but I think the fans, I think the older heads started listening to
Yeah.
those old cats that was dropping out. You know what I mean? It's funny, me
Yep.
and you was talking about Styles yesterday. Styles
Yes.
never stopped. That Styles never stopped.
Styles never stopped.
Like never. You
And
know what I mean?
and they've started to have those conversations like, why should we? Right? Like,
Mhm.
why do we have to get old? Like, why can't we, our generation that fucked with our music in when we were hot, they're not dead. You know what I'm saying? They got money. They got
Yeah.
jobs. Like they can buy merch. They care about us. So why are we gonna leave that on the table? And so all the people that went back outside, you got LL Cool J putting out an album, right? I don't know if LL Cool J, I know he probably wanted to, but does LL Cool J put out that album? If Nas doesn't do his thing, maybe,
It's
but
it's it's funny with the cats that quote unquote did kind of come back outside, like they dropped something like
yeah,
after like 5 to 10 years. The
yeah.
thing I didn't like was a lot of them still sound like 5 to 10 years ago,
They're trying, yeah, yeah.
and
Like
I
I
didn't
think
like that.
who are you talking about?
Um, I I didn't most of them. LL album I didn't finish. Um, this latest Wu-Tang joint I didn't finish.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I don't want to bring up Will Smith joint, but
Oh
I
God.
didn't finish, and it's funny because the whole time you was talking about talking about Nas, all I could think
Yeah.
about was the Andre 3000 statement, dog. And it's
See,
like,
I'm trying to get there. Yep, I'm
yeah,
trying to get there.
we're on the same page. But it's like,
Yeah,
Nas always drops like every album he has like 2 or 3 songs that's like a random thought. Like
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I bumped into the first time you heard Nas. That's all he had.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about
Yep.
how Andre 3000, his verse was just so abstract. So nigga, you could
Right.
talk about anything to an extent. So like, give me another excuse. Like,
The shit
don't
that
tell me that.
irks me, the
Yeah.
shit that irks me the most when he does these fucking interviews, and I'm glad we just cut right to it because like he's a big reason why I want to have this conversation because like all the old heads is back outside and you're playing flutes and pianos. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not against him playing flutes and pianos.
So partly though,
What,
not even good. I'm sorry. Like,
bro, bro, this shit is this. People online that try to act like they like that shit. That shit is nasty work, bro. That shit is trash. Like I cannot listen to none of that shit. And it's like none of us watched Michael Jordan play baseball. We didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like we wasn't like, oh, like it was a spectacle, but we wasn't like really checking for Michael Jordan playing baseball.
no, and if we were honest about what we were watching, we won't act like it's
Yeah,
fire. You know what I mean? And he wasn't playing. I feel like 3000 playing in our face though, dog. Like you're putting out albums, sketches, nigga. Like I appreciate the honesty. You know what I mean? Like if
and
you
he says no bars. He makes sure that he puts a disclaimer on them. Hey, I'm not rapping. And like that's the part where it feels like he's playing in our face. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, and on one side, it's a good thing that he's doing these experimental works, right?
think,
Because it's better than him not doing anything. And the artist in me says every time he puts out a flute album or a trombone album or whatever he's gonna do, he's one step closer to getting back to rapping. He's one step closer. You know what I'm saying? It's because you got to be in the studio. At least he's in the studio. At least he's experimenting. At least he's doing something, right? So you got to hope at some point. But again, so what I was gonna say, the shit that irks me is that when he says, "I don't have nothing to say," right? It's like, what are you saying in this interview? You could say that. You know what I'm saying? Like you could say like I quit rapping. You remember you was in the room when I told y'all, hey, I'm gonna stop rapping because I felt like I didn't have anything to say, right? Or like, for whatever reason I was frustrated. And looking back on that shit is ridiculous because you can always say something about something. And if it's like people have made songs called writer's block. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't pinpoint exactly the record, but I know there's a record called Writer's Block. I think J.R. Ryder had a fucking mixtape series called Writer's Block, right? Like you could talk. He's like, oh, I'm 40 something years old. You can talk about whatever's relevant to you.
Ooh, ooh,
And
ooh. My bad. Random question.
yeah, yeah,
When you were this is the problem with me, the interviewing me. When you first
yeah,
started rapping,
yeah.
were you talking about a topic or were you chasing words? Because
I was chasing words. I
okay.
was always chasing words, and like a part of why I stopped rapping is because I couldn't find my voice as a 30 something year old trying to write about topics. I was always just chasing words. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? And like looking back on it, even though I was just chasing words, there was always substance in the shit that I was saying.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was always something there. It was a lot of rapping about rap, but it was also like talking about different stuff. And so the thing with Andre is just like, fam, if you don't want to rap, you could just say that. Like, I'm just not the whole shit with Outkast, he basically like deaded Outkast. You know what I'm saying? Without taking, he took responsibility for it in the song with Ti. I'm sorry or whatever. But like now that it's all these that record was years ago. Like you could just be like, yo, I don't want to rap no more. You know what I'm saying? I just like, oh, I don't know what to say. What would I say? Like like Method
Anything,
Man is out.
nigga.
Method Man is out here. Method Man is out here
Never stop.
sounding crazy.
Yes.
He's sounding as good as he's ever sound. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? LL's out, like I said, LL's outside. Nas is out. And you know what's dope about this shit? All these dudes signed record labels when they was kids, right? They signed record deals when they was kids, and they will all tell you, man, that deal that I signed was nuts, right?
Mhm.
Nori said it. They all signed these horrible deals, but now Nas is putting out this shit on Mass Appeal, right? So these dudes are now smart enough and they're in a streaming era where they could take the power away from corporations and they can empower themselves with their own record deals, right? And use their brand that they've established, right? To really put some money in their pocket and really have a better situation now where you don't have to sell 3, 4, 5 million records to be profitable because you're controlling your budget, you control your marketing, you control your videos, you can do everything. You're adult. You don't need to sign to nobody. There's
That's
kids doing this shit.
that's funny too, because kids doing this shit. But a lot of artists like how do you consume music? Let me ask you that question. How do you consume music?
Literally always on my phone. It's a majority of the time it's either when I'm driving or when I'm working out.
How do you come across new music?
Instagram, social media. Like I don't I used to be the radio, right? The radio and like Source magazine, and then I would pull up on the DJ the mixtape tables in the streets, right? And I would cop mixtapes and hear the records from there. So now Instagram is these dudes promoting their own shit, right? And there's that. And then you have all these pages like I mean, don't get me to not quoting to misquoting the names of their pages, but there's these pages on Instagram that promote new songs, like oh you haven't checked for this, these artists, whatever, whatever, and I learn about artists a lot through there.
All right, so I'm still I don't want to say fanatic, but I'm still like adamant with it. So
Yeah.
every Friday morning, like 12:05, I'm
Oh,
on
you check for Apple.
I'm on Apple. I
Yeah.
go to new music, I go down to hip hop, I
Yep.
scroll through, and I used to just add it to my library. So
No
now
doubt.
my library has a bunch of trash in it. So now now I start a playlist every week, you know what I mean, to put the joints in
That's
there,
dope.
and then I
I
take
need to do
them
more of
out.
that. I
So
need to do more
I
of that.
think since we're doing this on Saturday morning,
We can talk about new shit.
yeah, I asked you last week, what did you no, what did you get new? So to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that'll
Let
be
me I'm about to find the pages because I saved them because I be wanting to go back to them
okay.
on Instagram. So there's a joint called Reikou, is REIIIKOU.
Mhm.
There's a dude, he posts a lot of shit. Is it this one? Sleeping on Gems. That's one that I really like.
Okay.
Sleeping on Gems. They be posting a lot of new shit. They'll be like, yo, these artists have less than 100,000 Instagram followers, right? And it's like, just new artists or whatever. Like I be like I caught on to Little Sims.
Hmm.
You know who Little Sims is? That
Yeah.
that British chick.
Yeah.
She's dope. Like artists that I wouldn't otherwise check for. I'll just see somebody promoting their shit on Instagram, and then I'll go find because it's so cool that like they can shoot their videos with an iPhone and upload the shit. And if the record is fire, like I'm gonna go check for it. Like I don't
Yeah.
even really care. I realized that I haven't watched a visual in like forever. Like so many people got videos for joints that I never
Yeah.
even watched.
Yeah, I definitely start
Because
watching music videos. I
right,
definitely stop
right, like,
that.
but
And it is
so
crazy because it'll be a song that I like. I'm like, oh, they had a video for that? Fuck.
yo, songs that I was checking for, crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so let me ask you, what do you have? Do you still like? Are you excited for the new Mobb Deep album?
Actually, yes, because I became more of a Prodigy fan as of, because you know me.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely wasn't a Prodigy fan. We
yeah,
just know TVs that you're crazy. Um, but and Havoc, like Havoc is, I've really been a fan of one producer albums.
yeah.
And Havoc is one of them dudes who's been doing that. He had one with Styles, you know what I mean? Like
That I like that album.
he's been
Yep,
doing that for a minute. So you know what I mean?
yep.
I definitely, yeah, yeah.
And the
But
king of the king of the one producer albums is doing it with them is Alchemist.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's um and so like I stopped checking for my deep albums when I was like in my 20s because I was like, all right, man, like I got it. Like y'all are gonna shoot people. You're very scary. Whatever. And like then I went back like you did and sort of re-became a fan of P and the shit that he was doing and saying. Um, and so, I'm excited that they have unreleased material. I'm excited that it's coming out on Mass Appeal, isn't it?
I have
I,
no idea.
so do you know about the Mass Appeal rollout that's happening,
No, I have no clue.
bro? So let's talk about the old dudes back outside. The
Okay.
old dudes back outside. So Mass Appeal announced they did like a grand announcement, and I forget exactly what they're calling it, which is why I
And
need to
my
be more
bad.
prepared.
And
Okay,
Mass Appeal is Nas's label or
it's
his.
Nas's label, yeah. And low key, low key, one of the lessons that you will learn from the J. Cole podcast is that Jay-Z wasn't really a good record label executive. Like
I think we
he
knew that.
I hope people did know
Yeah.
that he kind of sucks. And J. Cole multiple times tried to say it without saying it because, of course, he owes a lot of his success to Rock Nation. But they were really in the way.
Hmm.
If you listen to him tell those stories, they were in the way of his creativity, of his getting his voice out, and him finally landing on the Forest Hill Drives format and really being that.
Is
Um,
that just a maturation of the game, though? Because couldn't you say a lot of labels were in the way of artists?
yes, yeah, but like yes, it was, and they were then, and but like you would expect that artists run labels would understand you,
Mm.
how to market you and how to do what you're supposed to do a little bit more than these corporate run entities. But the problem with Jay-Z is that Jay-Z is very much a corporate dude. You know what I'm saying? He's a corporate dude. He's out of touch. He's trying to roll with a format. He wants to get paid. He's um, one one of my friends says nobody wants to be a white man more than a black man. And like I know that's shy, that I know how that sounds, but
Mm.
like there's a lot of instances of wealthy black men who sort of emulate the shit that was keeping them down instead of actually breaking the mold into something that
Mm.
might actually benefit the people. And there's a lot of fucking examples of Jay-Z doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think Rockefeller, um, Rockefeller, like kind of did
So,
that a little bit more than people realize. You know what I'm
so,
saying?
so, so you think so? Was Rockefeller ran better than Rock Nation?
It's it. You know, I would if you ask Cameron, I think would probably say yes. And Rock Nation is not a record label. Like Rock Nation is way more, right? They have their tentacles out in a lot more stuff. Rock Nation is corporate. You know what I'm saying? Rockefeller was the streets. And you at least had I don't think Dane was running it like a corporation. I think Dane was trying to run it like a dude in the streets, which is why he rubbed so many people the wrong way and he became what he became. You know what I'm saying? Um, um, so my point in saying all this is that even though Rockefeller got so much attention, and maybe I should separate Rockefeller and Rock Nation, I think people just kind of assume that Jay-Z is this sort of genius in the way that, and he probably is in a lot of different respects. But when it came to artists, that one of his most prominent artists, I think, leveled a lot of criticism for for how he wasn't exactly about the music. That you was really trying to be a label. Like I came here because I thought this is Jay Z, and you really treated me like a corporation.
So
Um,
besides Cole, what other artists do you think Hove held back? Because I was thinking about Beans and how nice he was, but Beans was in the way of Beans.
Beans
Bleak, they
Beans didn't
said
go to
Bleak
Rock
didn't,
Nation.
huh?
Beans
No,
didn't go to
I'm
Rock
talking about,
Nation, right?
yeah, I'm just talking about artists that we know attached to Hove.
I think that his Def Jam, I think that his Def Jam era
Okay,
was awful.
okay, I'm forgetting all
When
about
you
that.
talk to him, he held up his success at Def Jam and he said Kanye West, Rihanna, and Neo were my success stories. And that's crazy because the Roots were there, LL Cool J was there, Method Man was there, Redman was there, Nas was there. There was a bunch of people there when he was the president that really didn't get lifted up. You thought Jay-Z was going to lift up hip hop when he got there, and he didn't. He rode the success of Kanye West was already successful on Rockefeller, and Rihanna and Neo pop artists. So, you're holding up this success of this, but it's like, yo, you didn't help the Roots further their shit. Like LL Cool J felt left behind, whatever. So,
Hold on.
um, yeah,
Like this, we're gonna be controversial.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
oh yeah.
with the Roots, how did he not help the Roots? I mean, I don't see nothing but success for the Roots, and I don't know what else we would want from the Roots.
In that time,
When
but
is
he
this
didn't
from?
he
Yeah,
didn't do
excuse me.
anything he didn't do anything to enhance what they were already doing. And in that time, like I'm not looking back necessarily on the end result of where they are now and say Jay-Z stop that, but in that time there were quotes. I remember specifically LL was the one who was the most outspoken, who was like, yo man, the label ain't really doing shit.
When is this era though? When is this decade?
When he was the president, this was in the mid 2000s, right? When he was the president of Def Jam. It was a very brief period. Like Snoop was the president of Def Jam for a little while. They kind of had this crisis of leadership, where they were, trying out different stuff and again, try stuff. It's all good. Um,
This sounds like a time when access to music exploded. So then we had so much access to so many other different type of artists that the major stuff we kind of left it. Like all these, like
This was that era. This was the blogger. I believe that Jay-Z was president during the blog era. And Jay-Z probably isn't directly responsible for how the labels ultimately squashed the blog era. Which have you heard that? That's a podcast you need to check for. Did you hear the blog era?
mm-mm.
So the blog era, and we're getting so far away from the Nas shit that I was gonna say. The blog the blog era is it was hosted by those cats. It's the real, right? Those two white cats. I want to say it was was it Pharrell funded type of podcast, and they talked about the blog era. It was a docu series talking about the blog era, and ultimately the sort of the hypothesis of the show, or the conclusion rather, was that prior to streaming, artists had taken control of their careers through the blogs. The blogs and the artists partnered together to create a new platform that was unregulated, that artists could control, where what they're doing now, where they could upload their own shit and drop their own mixtapes and upload their own videos and give it directly to other non-corporate entities, bloggers who are running their websites and giving them a platform, that they had this direct line to the streets, right? That they didn't have before, right? And the labels squashed it by creating a streaming platform. They squashed it by saying, okay, we're just gonna take away the way that you guys monetize music, and we're gonna retake control. And they also sent the feds to shut down people's sites. You know, remember they sent the feds to shut down DJ Drama. They sent the feds to shut down some of these blog sites for copyright infringement,
So the
right? Like
blog
y'all,
era and the mixtape era is basically the same.
they sort of they sort of spilled into each other. The mixtape era bled into the blog era,
Okay.
and they coexisted,
because it went from
and they
physical to
coexist,
digital. Okay. Okay.
and they coexisted. And so it's different when you have what I'm saying is like artists like the Roots, LL Cool J, and whatever, they were already established. So I could see how you'd be like, well, what the fuck? What did Jay-Z do to stifle them? These dudes are what they are. I think that there was no, in my opinion, there was no creativity in how you can reestablish these brands that everybody already knows. It's like, yo, you're not working with clay here. You're working with gold. You should be able to figure out a way to bring them back outside and make them exciting, because you're an artist. You're Jay-Z. You're supposed to know how to do this. And so that the whole point of me bringing up that shit is you fast forward to um to Nas with what he's doing now, right? And I think most people wouldn't say that Nas is a more successful executive than Jay-Z, but I think that you can look at the projects that Mass Appeal has done with Dave East, and the way that he's brought himself back outside.
Hey,
And now,
strong
huh?
take. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that nigga.
yeah. You don't, you don't have to love Dave East, right? But like he's somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like Dave
Yeah,
East
definitely.
is a dude, right?
Yeah.
Um, for sure. I'm not really a big fan of it. So what they're doing now, it's 7 albums. Damn, and they have a name for it. It's Ghostface, it's Raekwon, De La Soul, Slick Rick. Slick Rick is the first one coming out. Slick Rick's album's coming out in like 2 weeks. Slick Rick, did I say Mob Deep already?
No, you didn't, but yeah,
Mob Deep's new album.
that's fine.
And I think there's 7 of them in total that are all coming out on Mass Appeal,
You
right?
saved you saved it when you said Slick Rick. And like I said, I check for Mobb Deep.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
get to
never,
the next. We're gonna get
yeah.
to the Raekwon and Ghostface. That's another conversation about how you don't like them. That we should have probably started with that. um,
Oh,
but right. So where was, like, he's taking a shot. He's taking a risk. These are older artists, right? Who are not popping on. They're not going viral, right? they're not on TikTok, right? It's Nas making a play for hip hop. For like,
I
yo,
think
man,
it goes along with the whole how we thought or how they say hip hop is a young man's game.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like you said earlier, like, but the people you were fan of growing up, we're now adults, so we can now purchase more shit. And
yeah,
to me, it's more about the fact the artists that continue to talk about more shit as they grow up. I'm down to support you. You still talking about the same shit? You still killing niggas and still selling drugs at the age of
yeah,
42? Like I'm good. Like Ross, I'm good on shit like that. Like I don't, yeah, like I bet I love like that's like with Nas, like I love an artist that tells you about aging, my nigga, like just
yeah,
regular shit. And that's why I'm a big ass fan of Cole. Cole has always been just a regular dude, just
yeah,
shit. Oh my bad,
yeah.
real. I ain't really keep cutting you off. Real
No, no,
short
you
take
good.
I have. I feel like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar
Hmm.
are the only 1A, 1B situations that I know, if that makes sense.
What you mean?
Like a lot of times they be like 1A and 1B, and it's like, no, it's a clear cut. He's number one and he's number two.
As
I
far as
feel
quality of lyricism, or like
yes,
just,
yes, yes.
oh yeah, yeah,
Because you can easily like Cole over Kendrick for a reason. But if we talk
right,
about like artistry and skill level,
yeah,
I can't figure out why one or how one is better than the other because I don't feel I just and to me, that's the only clear cut 1A, 1B. The rest of them, I can find number one and number two. And I ain't even talking about, I'm talking about anything. Sports, food, anything.
um, I would say I think that the reason why Kendrick is considered, I think I could we could say Kendrick is probably considered one, right? Is that I think J. Cole, his how nice he is, how actually talented he is, and how dope of an artist he is. I don't think it always translates to the actual music that comes out. Like I think sometimes the shit comes off cringy, right? Um, like I think For Eyes Only, I hated that album. For Your Eyes Only, whatever that one was, I didn't like that album. I
Mm.
didn't like KOD. Um, the comeback shit with the basketball court on fire,
I
like
thought
that
you
was
said you didn't
cool.
like Kendrick that much. You don't like Cole that much either?
No, no, no. So I like them both. Like it's not the it's like it's funny because like whose music I ride with the most versus who I like is a different story. It's like I sort of differentiate artists between how talented they are, and I differentiate like with whether or not I bump their shit the most
Mm.
because I bump Drake shit more than all of them
Mm.
because that's just who I bump the most. But I'm not saying that Drake is nicer than them, even though Drake is super. I don't know why he's become underrated as a rapper. Like people think that this dude can rap. It's
Hold on.
ridiculous.
What do
But
you mean? Hold on.
what?
What do you
What, what?
mean you don't understand why he's talked about as being underrated? Because he's the only one that they say has a ghost. He's a ghostwriter. That's half of it right there.
Because he
And
doesn't
he don't want
have,
to rap.
because he doesn't, he don't know what?
He don't want to rap. Half his
I don't think it's that he does. Yeah. He said in that interview that he likes to make vibes more than he likes to rap. Right. B- Um, shit, you taking me off. What kill question do I answer? Like, I don't, people that know me are going to be like, see, he had to bring up Drake. I
I
would
forgot all
say,
about that.
don't worry. I'll come to it. I would say that again, I like Kendrick and J. Cole both a lot. I just don't necessarily ride to their music as much. I don't think their shits come together the way that I want to fuck with. But Kendrick's Kendrick's talent, as far as how nice he is as a lyricist, translates to his music better to me than J. Cole's does.
I
Like
feel like
for me,
I feel like Kendrick, when he come outside, is a movement and he make a big ass boom.
yeah,
And then J.
always.
Cole drops and was like, just remind you, like, nigga, I'm nice too, though. Like, I'm nice. But like you said, but it's not,
He's nice.
you're not really like doing nothing with it. You're just reminding niggas that you're nice. And you might drop a big single or something real big, and you might
Yeah,
do something real big. But when it comes to
yeah.
straight artistry, Kendrick's going to make a boom every fucking time he comes out.
that GNX record is a fucking monster. That album,
It grew on me. It grew on me. God.
you
Because
know,
it was
he
after
gets,
because
yeah, yeah,
it was after morale. Like
yeah,
when that
yeah,
joint
yeah, yeah,
dropped, I'm telling you, dog, when that joint dropped, I
yeah,
went outside of my balcony, lit one up, and listened to the album. And I had to go back like 2 or 3 times to listen to first songs. Like I ain't go to bed like 1:30 off that. Just like so that
yeah, 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 yeah,
so when G and X came out, I was like, oh, all right, that's hot. I appreciated that more because it was like, yo, if y'all say I can't do that fun shit, watch this. And he just
yeah.
gave
And
us.
it felt more like he was trying to get bars off too. Like it felt more like I'm just going like a thing that I don't like about Kendrick's albums is that he's like trying too hard to make it this big cinematic shit. It's like sometimes it's like, bro, can you just rap? Like stop making this fucking funny ass voice. Like stop like trying to like make all these stories. Like I'm getting lost in everything. Like just rap. Like that dude is so talented. Like if he just sat here and was like, "Can I just get 42 bars, 48 bars real quick, just straight
And
off
his
that?"
older,
Like it'll be the filthiest shit you've ever heard. Like
because his
he's
old
like that.
albums, he's always been a person that's been deep with it. But back in the
Yes.
day, he'd give you like 2 or 3 songs where he just spitting. Like I think
Yeah.
Section 80 had rigor mortis on there. And that was just
Yes. Yeah.
bars.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just bars, you know what I mean? But it also had like Tammy song and shit like that. So it was still
Remember that black hippie shit that they did over dead presidents? I want to say, like yo, he's if you just told J Cole, hey, I mean Kendrick or J Cole, yo, the assignment is here's a Just Blaze beat from 20 years ago, and just kill this shit. Like you would see, like, oh yeah, by the way, these are some of the most talented dudes to ever touch a microphone. Um, and if they can do that,
but that's the intersection of Andre Three Stacks and how I think because when you were talking about when you stopped making music and how we was talking
yeah,
about how you chasing words or whatever,
yeah,
like the whole Just Blaze joint is like, yo, go in there and tell them how much better you are than everybody else.
it's
That's what it is when it comes to just spitting.
yeah,
But when it comes to
yeah.
like so once you get
He's
tired
bored
of
with
that,
that. He
yeah,
doesn't want to do that anymore.
I can
He thinks that that's all that
I can
he
understand that.
but he thinks that that's all that rap is. And it's like, how do you think that that's all that rap is when you're the one who pioneered this other shit that everybody's doing now? You're the one who did that. If there's anybody who's equipped to rap about where you are in life, it's you. You're the one who set the blueprint for this shit.
Yeah.
You created this shit. You know what I'm saying?
That
But
shit gets you
yeah,
agitated.
it does to come back to him. Yeah, it definitely pisses me off because it's like it's imposter. I learned about. I've always known about imposter syndrome, but I didn't know like what it was called. You know what imposter syndrome is for
Oh hell
everybody
yeah,
who
definitely.
might be watching this. You know, it's people who don't think that they belong in a space because they're not qualified to be there, but they really are, and it's just that self doubt, right? I did that to myself forever, and watching Andre 3000 have imposter syndrome about rapping is the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like my guy, like I'm sorry, like you built this shit. Like we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so don't do all this. You know these statements that he's making is just crazy. But again, I'll take the flute if he want to make a tambourine album next. You know, because at one point you gotta assume that every time he fucks with a tambourine or a cello or whatever he's doing next, that one day he's gonna look at a pen and be like, I bet you I could write words on a page and maybe I could talk about, you know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna rediscover that, like, oh, I can make words rhyme together and talk about how I feel. And that may,
It's gonna start with it will start with spoken word. Start with
yo,
spoken word.
just do that.
Yep.
Bro, I will snap. I'll get in there and snap with him.
Yep.
I'll snap with you, dog. I'll take all of that shit, man. So yeah. I don't know. I feel like I veered. So when you cut this up, eventually I know you will. I probably veered off of shit a few times, and also I probably should explain. I saw how you look when you said when I said that shit about how nobody wants to be a white man more than like a black man, whatever.
No,
Like
I definitely understand.
you right? Like, remember when I sat and had the conversation with you years ago about Ice Cube? Remember, I was like, "Yo, these hip hop artists." are letting us down in this moment. They're not they're not fighting against the corporations the way we need them to. They're not standing up in this moment. That's essentially what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like these wealthy, like all of these rappers, you're not from New York.
Mm-hmm.
All of these rappers from New York that are in photo ops with Eric Adams. You know who Eric Adams is?
Oh yeah, I listen to Ebro in the morning.
Eric Eric Adams is the fucking op.
Mm-hmm.
He is the op of all
He
ops.
started out as the ops. Like that's the most
He's the
baffling part.
fucking ops. Like he's literally the ops, bro. And then when he won the office, he starts defunding education. He's hand in hand with Trump, right? He's letting Trump immigration people run through the fucking streets of New York. You know what I'm saying? Like he defunded libraries,
Mm-hmm.
defunded education. Public housing is a fucking mess. And you got all these rappers, all of them. And my favorite guys, Nas, Fat Joe, Jim Jones, Nems the other day posted a picture with him. They be like, because he helped them
Be in the
start the
club.
hip hop. Yeah, because he's smoking hookah and he's having dinner with y'all and he's making y'all feel like y'all got a seat now at the table. It's like this dude, this dude is in charge of making sure that the same shitty ass conditions that you grew up in New York City,
Right.
he's making sure that it's worse. He's making sure that all those things, over policing, defunding education, defunding housing, all the things that you guys said in your music for decades were the pitfalls of how you were growing up and how you had to come through that to become who you are. That motherfucker is doing. He is doing it as we speak, and he's corrupt, and he's taking money from foreign governments, and he's now cool with Trump. He's getting sunned on Fox News. I don't know if you saw that. He got sunned on Fox News by Tom Homan, the fucking ICE director or
It's
whatever.
crazy because niggas been getting sun. It don't do nothing though. Like we just point out how ignorant they are, and they just continue to do whatever they want to do.
Bro,
We just
this
sit
this
by
shit that
and about
Snoop is saying, this shit that Snoop is saying, running around to promote his album about, oh, I didn't do nothing. I just went and performed for a half an hour at the crypto ball because David Sachs is my man. David Sachs is a white South African whose money comes from apartheid South Africa. And because he was cool with you on the crypto shit, you was totally fine with looking the other way because you made some crypto money. You know what I'm
it.
saying? So that's what it's like. It's like, fam, maybe these motherfuckers wouldn't think that they could mow us down in the streets if you wouldn't let them do that shit behind closed doors. Snoop, we need you to tell David Sachs, yo, bro, that shit is kind of racist. Yo, man, I'm a black dude from fucking Long Beach. You need to, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to be friends with me, I got values and I stand up for those values. So you got Rick Ross, Nelly, Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, Ice Cube, all,
But
Kanye
at the
West is a
same
whole
time,
nother story.
at the same time though,
Yeah.
because you did throw me off with the Nas and Mary Adams joint, but the rest of
Yo,
them niggas, like it's like
Nas, before Mary Adams won, Nas was fucking shaking his hand and taking pictures with him too.
I mean, but at
And
the
so
same
did
time, I
French
mean,
Montana.
but all right. So like I said, I'm not from New York, but like I said, I listen to Ebro in the morning. So I
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
Shawnee has always talked about how he used to rock with Mayor Adams when he was a cop because he was in the community doing this, that, and the third.
He's the
So when he
fucking
got
ops.
so when he got into office, it kind of surprised him how off he was. And some niggas be like you just said, but he was always the op. I don't understand why. But he was like, yo, but he was in the community.
Oppie.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't do New York shit. But as far as this go,
Days out of time, they still say that's true. I don't know how they know. They still read my clothes. Yeah. Tell them Southside did it, hope Southside did it, yeah, Southside did it, hope Southside did it, yeah, Southside did it.
That's why I said I listen to shit in the gym and
yeah,
when I'm driving because that's when I have time. Yeah.
okay.
And when
Well,
I'm
yeah,
doing dishes.
yeah. Well, is that doing dishes?
Yeah, yeah. Because I got to be sitting still. I got to be standing there. So I
You
need
gotta
something to
find
listen
time to
to.
sneak in shit for yourself, bro. Like real talk.
That's it. That's the only time.
That's the only
That's the
way a
only
dad.
time.
That's the only way a dad is going to enjoy life.
Straight up. I can't just be blowing one in the living room on Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't work like that.
Shit, everybody blowing the L before I go start the lawnmower shit. Nigga, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Funny.
Yeah,
Crazy.
but I appreciate it, man. It's gonna be fun. I think every once in a while we might have like a guest appearance. I think that might be dope too. You know,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'll be I realize how quickly I was moving around on topics too. I'll be a little bit more,
no,
you know what I'm
no.
saying?
But
Yeah.
I think I want to keep it with, and I really with the other shows I control everything because I do it. I really want more of your input, so I'm trying to shut up more.
Got it.
But I do
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it being just a convo. Especially
I mean,
I don't know
that's right.
whether I'm gonna put this under my non-time ball page or under the
Yeah.
Southside Dinner page because it'd go dope on the non-time ball because we're just talking.
That's literally what
Everything,
we're doing.
yeah,
That's
everything
literally
just convos, and that's kind of how I base my platform. Everything just convo, no structure really, just convos like you would with your mans. Like you're not gonna put up to your man with notes. You know what I mean? Even though
straight
we
up.
might have notes sometimes. I did take notes.
Straight up.
I do be cheating. I think I take notes.
Well, yeah, but you be doing your thing though, man. Like I think if you're gonna guide a conversation, you know what I'm saying, and fit it in a half an hour format or whatever you're doing, like you kind of sometimes you got to be pointed. You got to make sure it's like I got to make sure I get to X, Y, and Z because I wanted to talk about that. So it's cool, it's relevant, but I appreciate this opportunity, man. We're gonna do this.
I'm it. I'm it. I guess on Saturday mornings you be taking a walk this every Saturday. How far you walk? You've been moving, nigga.
I know because I can't ask my wife. I can't sit still. I walked around in my neighborhood. I probably walk like a half a mile. And I'm not, and it's not even because I do this on Saturday morning. I would be in bed right now. But like if I'm gonna talk on the phone, like my job interviews or whatever, everything I do on Zoom, I just be pacing. Like I can't sit there.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm probably I'll make a clip and end it right with you know. I gotta be moving now with the whole Make it
That's
sound
perfect.
good.
You got to make sure you get my Death Row Christmas joint. You
I
know what I'm
like it.
saying?
I see
You
that.
know
I
what I
see
mean?
that. Yeah. That's gonna be I think that's gonna be something we do too. Every time we just got a random hip hop type shirt on.
Yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah.
something with it. You know, I cheated the first time with my own shit. But yeah, we're going this gonna be fun. Like I said, end of the day, it's just a combo we get to have every week.
That's
We
it.
can sneak in some little family shit type shit. So I'm gonna enjoy this.
And you called me out on the Def Jam shit. We gotta do more of that too.
This shit
Like let's
definitely yeah, we
yeah,
definitely be cutting
got
each other
to.
off. Fuck it. Look, put it out there right now, dog. I'm not cutting
Yeah,
you off to be disrespectful. I just want to be controversial real quick, nigga.
yeah, 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 exactly. Like hold on. Like let's argue about this for a second. On some Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson shit.
Yo, love them two together, dog.
No, they used to go at it. They used to go. Mike Jackson to be like, "Bruh, you need to cut that short." Like I don't know what you're talking
But Jeff was so opinionated, bro. Like real
about.
shit.
Jeff is that guy, and I'm so happy that Jeff is getting his props. He been on the bench 1 year, just 1 year that he's back coaching,
Yeah,
and everybody is raving about Son. You know what I mean? Like, yo, the Clippers wouldn't have did what they did if it wasn't for Jeff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope he gets another job if that's what he wants to do. He wants to coach.
Real quick with the music joint. So
Yeah.
last week I got Benny out,
Mm. Yeah.
Key
Gotcha.
Glock album.
The who?
Key Glock. You fuck with Key Glock?
He. I haven't listened to the album. I like him. Like yeah, I do like him.
Uh Lloyd Banks. I added Lloyd Banks album. He dropped a little
Yep.
while ago.
Yep.
And Black Lit from Richmond.
Black Leg. Shout to
Yeah.
him.
I
Still
dropped I
outside.
really enjoyed. This week, I bumped into Exhibit dropped the album.
Yeah. Yep.
The first three joints is bumping, so I'm gonna finish the joint.
Right.
Snoop dropped, but we're not doing that.
Mm-mm.
Amin, do you listen to Amin?
Nah, I ain't never even heard of him. Oh
Uh,
yeah, I think I have actually, but I
yeah,
don't.
because he dropped the drum on K Tronada a
No
long
doubt.
time
I
ago.
love Cation.
Yeah, me too.
Love Cation.
Yeah. So when them two dropped had a collab track, I definitely jumped on that. But he just dropped the album, and then
Yep.
Step Brothers they dropped the album last month, in the last month. Uh,
Who?
Don Tripp and Starlito.
Oh, yep. Another two that they put out a lot of music and I don't
Because I
check
was
for
like,
it. Not because I don't like them, but because like I'm not hip.
because when April ended, because you know Don Tripp for like I think 2 years now, every last Friday he's dropped a project.
Those dudes are
So
prolific.
so
Those dudes are prolific.
last so April I was like, yo, I guess he ended the streak. Damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
the following week, I was like, oh no, he dropped a Step Brothers album on that day. Okay,
Yeah.
it's still going. So yeah, those the
Did,
projects I dropped.
you heard the Saba and No ID? You heard that?
Okay, so I'm gonna give Saba a chance then. Okay, I'm gonna check.
Saba and No ID got an album that I really, really liked.
Okay.
And I'm looking through this. Shout to my man Scoozy. If we're gonna I want to promote my homeboy real quick.
Okay.
Scoozy. SKUZ, two eyes, hopefully like your face. That's what he says. Two eyes like your face. Yo, he's hilarious. He's from the 757.
Okay.
He's a super hardworking cat. Used to work with me at Navy Federal. He got a joint called Good Grief. He's got mad joints. His music is incredible. I'm
Okay.
gonna send you his single Good Grief. Good Grief is the one where he's really trying to do it.
So is he
He
on
been
is he
trying to
on is he on streaming platforms or no?
absolutely. He's
Okay.
everywhere. He's on TikTok, Facebook, all streaming. Bro, you would be like, this is you would think that this is like studio quality professional. Like the dude's a musician. He plays the trumpet. So like he's really, really like that. His music is really like that.
Mm,
He has a new record out, Good Grief. He got a lot of albums out, but the Good Grief is the new single he's promoting there. I'm gonna send it to you.
okay.
He's like that, man. I'm really proud of this.
Another thing I noticed, people are like going back to not I wouldn't say Bandcamp so to say, but the Bandcamp route. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I go on Wikipedia and be like, oh, he dropped the album, and
Mm.
then I go on Apple and it's not there. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
well, I gotta go buy this. And
Hey man, let them get paid before they
yeah,
put the shit on stream. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not against that. Let them get their money, because we know that they're not getting paid off of these streams,
yeah,
and the, corporations are ruining everything. Billionaires are ruining everything. The music industry is basically the tech industry now.
mm,
And so these guys have to take control of their shit. And even though I hated Black Star for putting their shit out the way that they did on that Illuminary podcast thing that you had
yeah.
to sign up for,
So
I
did you
get
get
it.
it?
I get it. I didn't. I was like,
Did
I
so
didn't
bad.
because I'm